Hello and welcome everybody to another GRL podcast. That's the second week running we can keep this up, which is very nice. Last week we had three TPs with us. It's two this time, two different ones. We've got the Ferrari TP of Triangular Lemon with us and his Red Bull counterpart of Viz, who's just taken over that Red Bull team a couple of weeks ago. So it's very nice to have you two here just after our race around Kota, which obviously was the third to last round. Though both of your teams obviously are a little bit in different regions of the OCC, with currently Ferrari in fourth place. They've just dropped down from second. So that's going to be very interesting to talk about. And obviously Red Bull, who've had a massive points deduction a few weeks ago. And now they are in last in the OCC, but looking at it now, they've certainly gained a bit of ground on Alpine again, so they'll be fighting for that ninth spot most likely going into those last few weeks. So yeah, nice to have you two here. Maybe I'll start with Viz because obviously not that many people know you yet in terms of team owner stuff. Obviously you just took the team over, and you've had a bit of experience with it now. How would you describe that experience you've had? Because it can be a bit stressful at times.
It's all about balance and just making sure that everyone is fucking available and stuff. That's the pressure that puts you as a TP. And I think Lemon will agree that both teams at the moment aren't really available, and we're struggling to find reserves. I think that's main issues that I would say has been the TP, and also just making sure that your drivers are there, because I know as a Red Bull boss, it's kind of hard that you got to keep all your drivers available. And now with the big 365 or 345, point deduction that we've had, I don't think half the team want to race anymore, which is valid. Yes, we have two races at the end of the season because the last one's now been cancelled. But we just got to push forward. Yes, I wasn't given a great deal of room to do any transfers that I took over after the transfer window. But we just have to push forward. I think the goal now is just to not finish last in the OCC, and try and help out as much as we can to push forward and try and help other teams.
Yeah,
probably
sure.
Gain on others and lose on others.
Your team seems to have gained a bit of ground again on Alpine this week, because obviously you were about 80 points behind and now it seems to be only 20. Simply looking at the drivers you have available right now, I think you've filled about 2 to 3 seats in the last few days as well. Are you looking at it in a positive way, thinking we can still turn this around to get 9th, because in the end of the day, 9th looks a lot better in the OCC than a 10th place? Or this will need a lot of luck going our way as well? Or how's your point of view at the current position you find yourself in?
Like I've just said, main focus now is just to not finish last. Anything that last is just amazing, considering that what I was given. No fault of Yatson's, do not get me wrong. If he could have made more transfers, maybe more reliable people, but what I've been given is not my doing. If that makes sense. Not to put the blame on Yatson. However, I do want to just point out some people like Jaden Regis came in for Div 5, reserved for me. He's now got a full-time seat. Guy Blitz Div 5. Being yourself, or if that's correct.
Yeah.
And we've also now just got a few other people coming in just to help out, trying to just complete the last 2 races, hopefully gain some points. That's what we're here for.
Indeed. I mean, before we move over to Lemon for a bit of talk, obviously, as you mentioned, you've just received a massive PD, which at the same time, I don't think it's the best of records, but holds the record for the biggest PD ever received in the league's history. The second you saw that you've kind of lost that many points, which at that moment was a third of the team's total score. How did that make you feel when you realized, oh, we are doomed here with this loss of points, basically?
Well, if you want to take it from my perspective, it's a learning curve. This is my first proper PP role to actually step into. Yes, I've been TP in other leagues and etc. like that, but this is the first proper one that has a multitude of divisions. And you know what? It is stressful. I think some of the TPs, if we're going to talk about TPs, you've got Kieran, who's now dropped out. Lemon, who is getting reserves, who are just not turning up. And then you've got drivers coming to the end of the season that just don't want to race because they're either, well, they've got work and stuff, or they've got family and stuff like that.
Yeah, mate.
Their priorities have now changed.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, we also obviously are at the end of the game cycle, so it doesn't get a lot better with that. But yeah, I mean, we'll come back to you in a little bit while we talk to Lemon, who probably in the last 2 weeks has felt similar struggles, a couple of PDs and drivers simply not turning up. How's made that feel you? Because obviously you're in a battle for second in the OCC and probably would have rather extended the gap than losing the 2 positions to Haas and Williams. How's that made you feel lately?
Absolutely great. I just love it. You know, it's just so great. No, but in all seriousness, it's been so annoying. The amount of effort you put into a team, just to have people, you know, not decide they don't care in the end. Now, a lot of people have been very good and have let me know they're not going to be available. And like, obviously, I respect people putting life before a video game. You kind of have to, but at some point, it's been a joke. Like, I was looking at it there. This is my 3rd year in a row as TP. I did 2 years at Williams, now I'm at Ferrari. In the 2 years at Williams combined, I got 20 PD from transfers. Wow. I'm at 140 this season.
My goodness me, was it that many? Yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean, you're up to 35 now, I think, was the last PD you've just received on your Division 2 signing. And yeah, don't.
No, but that ain't bad as me, mate.
It's not as bad as you.
It's about a third. There's still some way to go to meet Ripple's expectations of PD collected. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned your former team Williams. You're currently trailing them in the OCC. So looking at the other Lemon, as I call him now, would you say joining Ferrari could be is seen as a mistake on your side, or do you still think it was a correct decision to just move over because the storyline was literally lying in front of your feet to move to Ferrari with Cintium leaving, or how do you think was that decision making by yourself?
I think it was the right decision. I think Lemon deserved TP spot. He's doing great with it. I think the Ferrari was just always someone that hit me a little bit to the line. So I made that decision to go over, and at the time it was a bit bad, but now that I'm here, I'm like happy out. I know it's been a bit rough, but I don't think Ferrari's troubles have anything to do with me or anyone that is still currently in the team. We are a very solid team. We're well put together. It's just some people don't seem to care, and that's on them. Would I pick them in Williams? Probably still. Would they have done the same thing in Williams? Probably still.
Yeah. I mean, that's mainly also, I think, in terms of the scores, what made the difference between Williams and Ferrari, because Williams, I think, are one of the teams with the lowest amount of PD. I think only B Carb has less, as far as I'm concerned. Because I think the next V Cup PD is 15, and I think the last Williams one was 20. So, I mean, this is where the difference is, right? Because your last one was 35, which is massive. But overall, on a weekly score, I think usually Ferrari did actually outscore Williams. So the PD value is massive, especially towards the end of a game. Though, as you said before, you're in your third season now, and while the season lately seemed to kind of get away from you, do you think with a fresh start in season 12, so on the DLC on F1 26, you'll be able to re-establish the dominant force Ferrari used to be in the last 2 seasons, or do you think you're kind of in a downward spiral right now? You just need to get a hold of, or what's your approach in that?
It's kind of a mix of things, to be honest. Like, I think what's good about having this experience in the league, I've been here so long, is I know the kind of drivers you're dealing with. And when you go into a new game with the new handling model that is supposedly happening, I don't know how different it's going to be, but pace will change between a lot of the drivers. But what won't change is who's going to be finishing races, who's going to be active, who won't be leaving me for points. Granted, 2 seasons experience, I didn't learn that, but now I know. Now I know who's going to be sticking around. And those, I think will mean I will be able to do well. I do also think, though, it has been very tough, and I've lost a lot of confidence in my team owning ability after that. But I think, fresh start will be fine, and maybe I'll finally win the OCC instead of coming second, or third, or fourth every year.
Yeah, I mean, you could also say that it's very much down to them drivers and not your ability, because if you look at the standings, I mean, last season we had Sintium with Steve winning the OCC, and Steve obviously got a TP spot with Alpine. I mean, that's not gone all too well. But even after the draft, where many TPs said the Alpine got a good team, and then they, I think, end week 2 and -2 points, which is still the lowest we've ever seen, and they're still ninth, fighting with the Red Bulls, the only ones keeping them company after their PD. And Sintium, who obviously was the Ferrari TP for the last 2 seasons and won the OCC twice, is McLaren ATP now, and they are only, I think, 7th in the OCC. So would you agree that as much as experience helps, you are very much reliable on the drivers actually sticking to their word in terms of forming a team that is ready to challenge for an OCC title?
See, I think it depends. Like, using those examples, Steve, yeah, absolutely. Like, we all said he put through a good team, and then it just happened that those drivers either had a couple of moments of contact, obviously with the harsher penalty system. He balled down at the start, and we have seen good moments from Alpine, but they just don't have that consistency. And then with Sintium, with McLaren, I just don't think he cares anymore. So I think that's kind of put them into a little bit of a difficult situation. But overall, look, you can have as much experience as you can. Like, I think the most example is me getting in Bolt to pick me as champion last season. He stayed in the same division. That division virtually didn't change. He won the championship previously. After 3 races, he had 3 points, and then left the league.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
true.
how anyone
No, I think everyone was surprised because as you said, the core of the division remained the same, and we have Vipers and Vortex, who are basically the same pace, and Vipers was in the end third in the championship, I think 3 points off Bolt, and he's still like in the top 5, I think, of the driver standings now. So the core of Div 3 certainly remained the same, just we had some people from Div 4 go up. I think the odd demotion, but yeah, Bolt was a very interesting one. And I mean, S-Game was also with him, wasn't he? And he's third in the driver standings and missed a couple of races. So that's obviously a very unlucky champion picking a team in the end, which is probably also largely down to Woody, who was his DP before. But yeah, I mean, that's
You
just.
can't blame Woody for that.
Yeah, no, at times that's just how it goes. Before we all want to look a bit at both of your driving campaigns, you've, as you said, had a lot of experience within GRL as team principal and generally as admin as well, so you know the league quite well. Which team, and especially which TP this season, has surprised you with their performance in season 11? Because there have been a couple of interesting storylines. Who would you say is you didn't expect before the season to do that well, or that bad, maybe?
Yeah, well, there's an easy answer, and it's just.
I know what you're thinking, Lemon.
Yeah, there's an easy answer. It's Invade.
Yeah.
Like
I would say Invade, just from a perspective of driver and TP.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I knew Invade was quick as a driver from having him in my team the season before. When he got picked as TP, I knew he was smart. I was like, hey, Grant, he'll probably do well. We came out of the draft, and I was like, this team is terrible. He's built a team of drivers who are inconsistent, or in the name, for the case of he who shall not be named, awful and terrible, big crashy people. And yet they're still.
We all know we're talking about a Spanish driver.
We all know we're talking about. And Grant,
he's not the other one.
He's on. No. He got picked later on. Oh, and there's also another guy who
that
got
one,
50
yeah.
PD and diff. That's
Yeah.
There's so many things that went wrong for us, but they've just been able to keep their core and build on that. Like the signing of Milking Beaufort was huge for them.
Yeah.
They've just been able to continue developing and make the right choices at the right times, and it's just been great. He's done a really good job.
He has indeed, yeah. Well, moving back over to Viz, before we fully go into your drivers' championship, there's something happened obviously this week which we need to talk about. Red Bull have already won the Division 1 Drivers and Team Championship, and Yalton is left beforehand, so it's yours, basically. You can take all the pride. Is that at least a small positive on that end? And could that feel of success lead to you possibly signing up as TP again for next season? Because obviously a bit of success is always nice, isn't it?
Well, like I previously said, first role as TP in an 8 division season, I didn't know how it was expect. Don't get me wrong, when I signed up, first thing I got told is, Nardo is unbelievable, you'll be fine in Division 1.
Yeah.
So that was the least of my concern, if you would want me to be honest. And I knew he was already leading the championship as it is. Didn't know anything about the constructors, I will admit. But no, it is a good high note to end the season on the low note of the 345 PD. However, but we'll brush over that one. But no, a big congratulations to the boys in Division 1. Like I said to you just then, I knew that Mr. Nardo was already on top.
Yeah.
So it was all about just trying to push to the end now. 2 races left. If you want me to be honest, for all that I know, they can start last and finish last. As long as they're having fun now, happy days for me.
Well, I mean, let's hope he can overtake as well, because in Qatar he'll not start from pole for one of the few times this season. But yeah, seems like those points.
You say that, look at Belgium.
Yeah. But we'll see. I think Qatar is certainly a bit harder to overtake on good old Spa. But yeah, I mean, Nardo I think has almost got double the points of P2 in the championship.
I mean, if we go back to who shall not be named, I think it would be an easy track to overtake. But hey,
yeah, well, that's how it is. Though,
he might lose the championship if he tries to do
yeah.
Another 345 PD my way.
I think he could easily get 45. That would not be his problem. I think he would still be clear about 120. But one more thing. Obviously, you've switched from driver only to TP. How has your approach to Monday kind of switched with that change, or has it changed at all? Is there something always going on in your mind? Yeah, I need to sort the reserves, or are you just chill and you just go with the flow?
Well, Lemon knows what I do for work, because me and Lemon are quite close now. But the aspect of not being on your phone like 24/7 is a big priority in like a major league. Not to sound rude to some of the TPs, but some TPs have no life. They would just sit on Discord all day and do nothing. However, for people who actually have a life, like myself and Lemon, people with jobs and stuff, it does become difficult. So, as a TP myself, I do kind of wait till like the end of the week, give people a chance to tick up. If they don't, then that's when now I've realised you need to just get your arse in gear and sign, or say sign, get in a reserve. Even if they've not, well, I've just messaged one of my drivers and he doesn't know if, say, he will be available until last minute. From that perspective, I'm going to have to get a reserve in or a reserve ready because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So would you say, obviously you currently, as far as I'm aware, you don't have any ATP alongside you. Would you say, especially on race day with an ATP, having a Monday off, usually, for example, could be useful if you were the main team principal, just to keep everything in check, make sure the drivers on Monday are checked in, they're online? Would you think that would be a key factor for you if you like had a full season, you pick your drivers? Would you say that would be very crucial in terms of achieving more than what it is now?
I do think that an ATP is useful. Do not get me wrong. It sometimes they can be, sometimes they can't. It depends on what everyone's availability is like. Everyone does something. Everyone has, well, I say everyone has a job. Everyone has a job. Everyone has school. Everyone has work. Whatever you want to say. So it kind of goes that I think everyone needs to just be 50-50 with each other and just making sure that there is a shared responsibility in what everyone is doing.
Yeah. No, 100%. But yeah, that's the TP stuff. I think we've covered all that very nicely. Let's have a look at your campaign as a driver this season. You have obviously been attending the races in Division 6. I think you started the season with Alpine and then obviously switched over to Red Bull. And the main thing I remember is you on your first race at Monza just telling your teammate that you were there on the Monza straight. That was the first thing I've actually remember you for this season. But it's, as you said, it's not really gone to plan. Though the main question is, are you looking to do another season on the next game? And what's your goals going into a new game, a new season in terms of driving, and why do you think has it just not gone that well this season in terms of points and race results?
Well, a little while back ago, I used to be faster than Zeded.
We all had that.
A little while back ago, that is. And let's just say this, and I think Lemon will agree with me, that man has not got off the game since he's got his wheel. So I will fully admit, I think it takes a lot of dedication in what people do. My dedication at the moment is my work. I've started a job like last August. I started AGS. GRL I wouldn't say last year, but halfway through the last season. This is my first proper season with, well, some same drivers, some new drivers. I'm probably one of the only few people that are on. I say few. One of the people that are on pads compared to some people who are on wheels.
Yeah.
So there's some factors. Do not get me wrong. I don't want to be the one to blame the factors. I want to be the one to blame myself for not being good enough. But putting all them things aside, I do feel like this has not been the best of seasons. Definitely work does take priority, and focuses on that. But if you want to kind of recall through the whole season, really briefly, I remember starting the season poorly, really poorly. Qualifying like 18th, 15th, the lower half of the table and then almost finishing just barely above it.
Yeah, no, I see how you said. I mean, Pat.
And then you've just said.
Pat, this game
with
is
me
as well.
taking out Burger.
Go on.
No, it's fine. But as you just said, me taking, I wouldn't say taking out Burger, having a collision. But in my first race as a Red Bull driver, but there's been some highlights, and don't get me wrong, this division is very, very hard to get a podium. I've been close, and don't get me wrong, Lemon is way faster than what people make out to be, and yes, I can see why people want Lemon to win a championship, because he is very consistent in whatever he does. But that's another thing that I would like to kind of just say is consistency. I do put my head down quite a bit as a driver. So maybe for next season, we can, well, as you said, about maybe go for TP again. If not, maybe as a driver, kind of just sit on the game for a little bit longer than anticipated. And just trying to learn how the new game works. We got the new track coming in, so that'll be something to learn through as well, for like traction control zones and all the braking inputs and etc. like that. Especially for wheel users as well. There's going to be new factors on the new game, so this, I feel like we can say this game is now a whitewash, and I think the focus is now just primarily focusing on the new game and just trying to get through the end of the season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a new game with a new handling model as well, which most of us didn't really expect that it would change that much, but according to EA is what I'm wanting to say. They'll actually change quite a lot, so that will be interesting. And as you said, new game, new handling, also offers new chances for drivers, especially with a faster learning curve, steep learning curve, I should say. That could offer chances for sure. I mean, in Division 6, it also seemed that like the top runners, as you said, have been very consistent and very competitive, which also shows in points. But as you've said, I think it was in Spa, you were very close to achieving that podium. And you've picked up points most of the time.
Hungary?
In Hungary, you've got 6 points. That'd be 10.
Or it was Singapore. I don't know which one.
Singapore, it says 4 points. Or maybe not. No, sorry, that is positions. I'm fully wrong. So it was Singapore in 4th and Azerbaijan in 4th, actually. So twice very close.
It was one of the street circuits.
Yeah. Which is very remarkable as well on the pad, because those street circuits tend to not help the Taiwan pad a lot.
If you look kind of like at the start of the season as well, just shows.
Yeah, certainly.
Where
it could have gone better.
Where the strengths are, where the weaknesses are at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. But you've recovered nicely. You're currently 14th in the championship, and the people around you are very close. I mean, you're only 7 points off 11th. And what is that? That's 13 off 10th with Pat not racing anymore. And I'm sure Koi will try his hardest to put his counter barrier in the next few weeks, because that's what he does best.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, it won't affect our OCC run too much, so I'm sure he can do you that favour. No, but yeah. Well, obviously, we hope that you get going very fast into the next game. A couple of tier placements will obviously change as well. But yeah, as we already talked about the Division 6 Championship, let's talk about Triangle Lemon, who's obviously been into that involved in that title charge the last few weeks. And now after Kota, the margin to the top two title points is 32 points. So it looks like it's slowly slipping away from you. How do you see it? Is there still a bit of hope that Erna and Omreplayer finally come together? Obviously, Erna's your teammate, but if there is the trophy coming around in 2 weeks' time, I'm sure you would take that risk.
This season has been entertaining. It's been entertaining. The last couple races, as you say, have kind of let it just slip away. But focusing now, I think, just knowing how consistent Armour Player and Erna are, I think my main focus is on getting that championship for Erna and kind of taking a back seat myself and slipping into what will probably end up being fourth. Actually, no. We'll probably still hold third. We'll probably still hold third, but it's going to be focused on just getting Erna this title if I can do the double. That's what I like.
I mean, let's talk about Erna. He's obviously been behind Armour Player, I think, for the majority of the season, but lately with Armour Player missing a couple of races and then Erna also having better race results, he has taken the lead, and now they're both tied on points with you a couple of points behind. So has Erna being your teammate and also at the same time going for the title, would you say, has it rather helped or hurt you in any way? Because you always have two sides. Usually, it's always great when you've got a teammate you can work with for the top spots, but on the other side, it comes with issues like potentially having to double stack when there is a safety car, or just having these little battles you want to avoid because often you just want to calm race and focus on yourself. And then when your teammate there tends to be a bit of a struggle because you have to race them a bit differently usually than another car. What would you say? Has that rather benefited you or hurt you in your season to have a teammate that competitive?
It's had its ups and downs. With Erna, we don't race against each other. We don't. We will refuse. We don't really race each other like at all. I think there's been one time where I've had a little look into a corner the entire season, but it does have its benefits because it means we, as you said, we can work together. There's been times where we're like, okay, you go past here, and then I'll try to make my move and follow you through. We've been very close in position for a lot of different points throughout the season, splitting strategies, holding people up so the other one can do well. We work really well together to try and make sure we both get the best results, and that is why we are, may it be only by 1 point, top of the Data 6 constructor standings because we're both doing so well. But saying that, there has been times where because we don't race each other, I end up losing out on a position because I'm not going to go and get past him. The best example is Baku, where I was far quicker, but on the last lap I was like, okay, let's not have it was starting to rain and we were all on dries as well. It's okay, let's just
just go a little bit safe. Yeah, not take the unnecessary risk. Like I've experienced myself, that at times can be even more painful when you just go over the edge. But yeah, certainly see it. I mean, I remember when we talked before the season, you were not that confident that in Div 6 you would excel, and be at your best in terms of how the season would go. Now, looking back to the start of the season, would you say your season progress has met your expectations or even exceeded it? Or would you say, at the end of the day, it's still disappointing because I've not won the championship and that's what I'm here for? Or, assuming you will not pass Erna.
Yeah. I mean, well, at this point last season, I was in third as well, in the same division. I was sitting in third. Now, granted, I was nowhere near the top two, so it has been an improvement, but it's not really about the position in the standings for me. As a racer and as a driver, I've improved so much throughout this season. I got a new wheel just before it started. Got that. I don't like to blame the equipment for me being goated, but it's if we look at the start of the season, I kind of had reason to doubt. In Silverstone, I was quick because it's wheel track, a lot of pad users. I could just take advantage. China, I got lucky. Netherlands, I didn't race. Bahrain, I did well in the sprint and then got lucky. Singapore, I'm rapid. Hungary, for some reason, I was quick. And then I had the fall off. And then ever since starting at Baku, kind of even at Monza, I feel like I've hit a stride. of just actually being quick again, which is really nice to see. And it's probably quite high up, a lot higher than I expected to be going into the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially lately, I think in looking at quali as well, you have certainly made massive step upwards, which tends to help. I think we can agree that with the dirty air being pretty massive on this game, as we all found out, having a good qualifying does help, even if drivers like you and me tend to struggle with the odd getaway. I think that's a very, very nice description of the turtle crawling off the line at times.
Last turn 1 in Kota.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a great start. I think a few seasons ago in Kota, where you went from I think 4th all the way down. Was it that?
Uphill, it's not fair. I was 3rd.
Oh, sorry. Even better.
16, back up to 10th by the end of the quarter because someone took each other out. So I ended in 11th. Still finished that race 5th.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get our start sorted, that would basically make us even better. So I think it would just not be fair on the others. Yeah. So I think that's very kind from both of us. I think mine have gotten a little bit better now, but yours are still. I mean, I haven't watched your start lately, to be fair.
Baku was a great start. Australia was a start. Jeddah was a great start. Monza was a great start. It just was. I just can't do the uphills, I guess.
Yeah, I personally as well thought that mine got a lot better, but then I got past Bahadur and off the line. I was like, oh well, maybe there's still room for improvement. But yeah, you either like the starts or you don't. Something else, looking again on the TP role, you have. If you now had to pick a team for next season and you could fully choose, but you could not pick Williams or Ferrari, what would be your preferred choice and why? And I don't want to have a TP spot is not an option.
Do I get to answer this question?
You both get the question.
Wait, I'm looking through.
You get it for Red Bull.
I know. I was thinking of this, so don't worry.
Do I get to take all of the? Oh, this is tough.
Pick Red Bull.
No. I've driven for Red Bull in a lot of other leagues, but no, it never really sat with me.
I know who I would pick.
Oh, I can't pick Williams or Ferrari. That's the issue.
I know who I would pick as you.
They're like my little cuties. I mean, what we know from me is I like to go where all the bias is and all the best team is, and then just completely tear it down. So I'm going V-Carb.
Oh yeah.
You have to go V-Carb. Or McLaren. I like McLaren.
All right, Wiz.
As I was saying, new me, Cadillac.
Interesting. Yeah, we haven't heard of many people liking the Cadillac, and I personally think that livery is absolutely shocking. But that's okay. That's just my opinion. We need a Cadillac.
It's not the fact of the livery. I feel like the reason behind the Cadillac for me is let's try and get away from the 345 PD.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
let's start fresh.
Cadillac is obviously then the 11th team on the grid. Next season, so we'll have 22 drivers per grid.
I'm about to say that would be interesting because there is one more TP spot available.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, Cadillac will be interesting also in terms of the draft order because obviously GRL has a driver draft and usually the teams who overall in the division scored the least points are at the bottom. So usually that would mean Cadillac would get the worst picks, but obviously that would not be a very balanced way. So obviously that will be interesting how they get certain picks in certain divisions, which is still very unknown because even me and the admins don't know yet how we will add that. But will be interesting to see how Cadillac perform in the first season because obviously
if you're going to go new, then it'll be either Cadillac or Audi. Yes, Audi are technically Sauber.
Yes, Audi will take over the positions. It will inherit the picks Sauber would have, obviously. But Cadillac obviously is completely new, which at the same time means if Cadillac has an absolute stormer next season, that for the season after that, they will have possibly the best picks out of all the teams, because then every division they've attended, that is 100% their all-time position. So if they win, let's say, 3 divisions, it's guaranteed basically that they will have the first pick in that division on the season 13 draft. So yeah, that will certainly be interesting, because that's never happened before. And then one more question also to both of you. Possibly going into another season as team principal again, what would be the reason any of the champions who can obviously pick their team for next season, and can pick their car, what would be a reason to join your team for the upcoming season? Why should they pick your team and USTP and say, like, yeah, I want to drive only for them?
Can I answer first?
Yes,
Can I answer first?
of course.
You know what? If you want me to be completely honest, I have no words.
Well, then why do you want to go first?
No, because mine is the easiest answer.
You
have
could have
more
said,
experience. You have more.
you could have said, what I can do
Yeah.
for you is I will get at maximum 344 PD this year.
Is that
Yeah.
correct?
That is.
However, no, being serious. Serious element. Oh. Okay, my game sound is just cut out. Hello?
Hello. You're still here.
Hold up.
Yeah.
My headset's gone off. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay,
Let an answer.
Yeah, I guess I'll answer. I mean, joining Ferrari and GRL, why would anyone ever want to do that? Look, I think they have the most OCC wins in GRL history.
Yeah, well, they will be tied with V-Carb, Will Ferrari, and
Yeah, bigger three teams, so it doesn't matter.
Mercedes have 1. Someone else, I think, has 2. That might only be Ferrari. Yeah, I could be wrong. Yeah, I think Ferrari and
yeah.
V-Cup certainly have 2. That's the most anyone has. So, yeah, tied the most.
So you come here, you get glory, you get someone who's going to actually look after you as a driver, someone who will, if you need something done, they will do it. I think every one of my drivers who are active themselves can tell you that I will do what you need me to do as a team owner. And also it's Ferrari, you know, this is riddled with glory in this league, riddled with glory in real life. Beautiful car. And then you get to click on Lewis Hamilton's face every day when you want to hop in the car for the race.
If you want that.
You can go Charles Leclerc as well, but
yeah, exactly. Great suggestion. I would join you for Charles Leclerc. So he's back.
I'm back from a malfunction.
Well, then let us know. Hello? This is a great end to this podcast. We can hear you indeed.
I'm back. Malfunction.
Yeah.
Cha-chings. So, what the fuck? What was the question?
Why someone should join your team as one of the champions?
Why someone should join Biz? Well, after Lemon's eulogy, you know what? I don't really have a sentence. Can't lie. I'm a new TP. New things, innit? Like I said, Cadillac is a new team. Let's just carry on with new things. New drivers, new team, new PD.
New PD.
That's a bit bold.
Time to sign Charlie Goat. Oh.
Yeah. I think you might get a PD for having to
note,
replace him mid-season at this rate.
Right, on a serious note, if I were to be TP again, I would be a bit like Lemon. I'd try and get the shit done. I think most TPs try and do the best of their abilities, but I feel like I will have a strict expectations on what people can do. Because from what I've kind of witnessed and what I've been in, availability is the biggest factor I've seen.
All right.
Not every driver is available. So kind of like the statement I'm trying to say is that if you're not available and you know you're not available, then tell me if you're going to be with me. Don't leave it till the last minute.
Indeed, yeah.
But like I said, new team. If I were to be a TP, would be Cadillac or Audi. As I'm the newest person on the grid, anyways. If you think about it, as a TP. And we'll just have fun. Aim is not to win. I mean, I think everyone aim is literally the OCC, but I can't lie. With everyone's expectations of that, and we don't know the actual draft order yet, I can't really say that, yes, the expectation is the OCC.
I mean,
the expectation for me, before anything has started, is just find out where we are and just have fun. If we can go for the OCC, brilliant. Go for the OCC. If we can't, we go for what's next. Driver Championship. Can't do that. Constructors Championship. Then we just keep going from there.
and if not in the OCC, there's always P11. That's 2 1s.
Exactly. You can just do even worse than Alpine this season because it's not going to be Red Bull.
I like it.
Yeah, you can say we never came 10th. Never was us. I never came 10th.
Exactly.
I was first
I will
twice.
say that Red Bull finished 9th after 345 PD this season. Because it's not. Because I tell you, Alpine are finishing last.
Yeah, I think despite all that PD you've received, for about 5 days everyone was like, "Oh, Alpine actually could not come last," but that last week you've already gained, I think, 40 points. So
exactly, we gained something like 50 points in Alpine as well.
Yeah, you've gained for about 70 almost. Yeah. So actually quite a bit. I mean, they've got a couple of penalties as well, but it was a good week in the office.
Exactly. So, I will not be saying Red Bull are finishing last. So we both.
Indeed, and I think to end this all off, to get all his anger gone of the last few weeks, our favorite Ferrari TP can tell us what he has experienced and which drivers he's certain not to sign again in season 12.
I can tell you a driver that I'm not going to sign for next season.
You want a list or an exclamation?
Whatever you want.
Go boom, 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 boom,
Last
boom,
few
boom.
minutes
Okay.
belong to you only.
I mean, if you say Erna, I'll keep it quiet.
No, Ernest staying. Ernest's gone in 2 seasons. I can't get rid of him, no matter how much I want. Div 8, Matthew's not pushing my car. Div 7, they're actually kind of chill. I'll let you have to stick around. Div 6, goats, love them all. Div 5s, all of them goats. Div 4, odd Poloni, if you jump back to the league, gone, dead mate. Div 3, switch, just let me know whenever you're showing up instead of not showing up and then apologising to me afterwards. If it happens 3 times in a row, or not in a row, if it happens 3 times in 3 different weeks, surely you just know that you have to text me when you're going. Switch is never getting back in my car. Have a good luck in the last 2 races, though. Love you, bro. Anyway, Div 2.
Oh dear.
Div 1, we're all fine. We have to settle on Div 2 now. It just is a little bit. Tom Oz, and I didn't want to curse much when I was on here. Tom Oz, gimp, shut up, you old twat. Told me he was going to give up, and I was like, "Can you last till the transfer window?" He went, "Yes." Takes 2 weeks in a row, didn't show up. I got a PD, and then had to sign someone that I ended up replacing in the transfer window anyway. Great. Then I'm going to quote Don Robbie here. The mere mention of his name. Stay Daisy. Why did it? Next time you get back in, Stay Daisy, just know I will ban you immediately. I've got admin perms now. You're getting perma-banned next time you step foot in the server. Thank you. That was me and my piece. I hope you enjoyed.
Yes, so that was a great end to this podcast, and as you can see, we all are very emotional when it comes to success in the overall Constructors Championship. Yeah, all right, so that was another episode of our podcast, another 50 minutes. So I hope everyone watching enjoyed that. We head now into our last 2 race weekends with a Qatar Reverse Championship grid and a sprint finale at Abu Dhabi, with obviously Brazil being cancelled because the new DLC is coming and we're all very excited. We have got a couple of championships, well, most championships still up for grabs. We have got the Division 8 Constructors' Championship and Drivers' Championship, with the top three only split by 9 points. So that's going to be very interesting. Division 7, the Drivers is already decided, but I think the Constructors is very, very close between Williams and VCARB. Then in Division 6, we have still got the Drivers obviously up for grabs, so the top two are tied on points. And I think in the team standings, the top two are only split by 1. That should be VCARB and Ferrari. So there's still a lot of hope for Ferrari in Division 6. In Division 5, we have got still, I think, 5 contenders for this championship in the Drivers. But the top 3 are split by 2 points. So that will be very interesting because it's between a McLaren, a Ferrari, and a VCARB. So once again, a VCARB and the Ferrari involved. In the Constructors, it's yet to be decided, but VCARB are leading by a solid chunk. Then in Division 4, we have a more leader leading the Drivers' Championship, who is looking to win in Qatar and possibly win the title there. The Constructors' Championship, as far as I know, is not decided yet. I'm just double checking that real quick. In Division 3, we have got the Drivers' Championship still up for grabs, though the Constructors is decided, despite VCARB deciding to sign Yalton. That's actually gained them a couple of points. Division 2 Drivers also up for grabs. Ryan looking very solid up front, but Nightel and the lead leader are closing in after a good race at Texas. And the Constructors is up for grabs as well. And in Division 1, it's all decided because Wiz has turned up for Ripple and told Nard and Adonis to please win something after that massive PD. Yeah, and the OCC probably most likely going to get decided at Qatar for VCARB winning their second OCC, unless Haas pull off a miracle and VCARB kind of stop showing up. But yeah, that was that. We thank Wiz and Triangular Lemon for being here. And if we keep this going, hopefully see you next week for another podcast. Until then, enjoy your races and see you then.